everybody. So today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about our first project. Hopefully on the screen you can see part of my presentation that will tell you we are going to be making a sketchbook cover for our first project. Here's what's a little bit confusing. You have not gotten your art kit yet. So you don't even know that in the art kit, there are things for you to make a sketchbook. So right here in my video, here's a few different sketchbooks that I've made. During this pandemic, it has been a little bit more difficult for me to get art materials. So I wanted to teach you guys how to make your own sketchbooks. This is great because you can repurpose them, use them as journals. You can just get really creative and do lots of cool things when you know how to make your own sketchbook. But we're actually starting a little bit backwards. We are going to be starting by creating our cover. So I have a few requirements for the cover of your sketchbook. The first requirement is that somewhere it has your name. So your name must appear somewhere on the cover of your sketchbook, and it must be part of the artwork. You can't just write your name down at the bottom, but try to incorporate your name somewhere in there because this is your sketchbook and you are so important. It also has to have some kind of background design. So some kind of background that says something about who you are. So it's got to show something about you and who you are. It's going to be a little bit smaller, so I want it to be completely filled with either color or value. And value is another way of saying shading. So blacks, whites, grays. But I do want it completely filled, not a lot of white paper showing through. And you need to make at least one mistake. That's right, you have to make a mistake. Artists make mistakes all the time. No work of art is perfect. Really, the goal of an artist is just to figure out how to roll with your mistakes and make them part of your artwork. So what do we need? We're ultimately going to be collaging our cover onto our sketchbook. So you're going to need a piece of white paper. And it's kind of challenging to work on the white paper when it's on your sketchbook. So we're actually going to start with just the white paper itself. And these sketchbooks are a little bit smaller. So I've put the size as 9 by 6 inch. Don't worry about that too much. Just know that it's a little smaller than a regular piece of paper. And as far as adding the color, the background, the value or shading, you can choose any materials that you want for that. So for this project, any materials you want. This will be due on Wednesday, September 23rd at 2 p.m. So that's middle of the day. Keep that in mind. And that means that you'll have approximately 2 hours to work on this. Most of the time will be in class. And day one, I want you to plan out what you would like to do for your sketchbook cover. So start thinking about that. What will you put in there? What kind of background will you do? And today I want to do a demonstration where you are starting to think about what you want on there and you're starting to draw it. So this is layer one. It's the pencil layer. It's nice and light. So here we go with the demonstration. Try to pay more attention now to your screen. I'm sorry, the color's a little bit off. It's self-adjusting for some reason. So we are going to be sketching with our pencil to start. You get to decide how you would like to orient your paper. I'm going to go tall ways just because it makes it easier for you to see, but you can orient it any way you want. And you're going to start with your name somewhere. We've been doing name art, so you can continue to work with that if you want. I'm drawing really light. I know it's really hard to see, but artists, especially for our first step, draw really light, and then we just draw over top. And I know for some of you, that makes you feel like it's really messy, but artists just keep layering, and then we go back at the end and we erase and touch up. And if you look close at most works of art, even in museums, you can see some of the underpainting, some of the underlayering that's in there. So a lot of artists don't even necessarily try to hide that. So you want to put your name somewhere on there. If you want to put another word or your gratitude word on there, you absolutely can. So keep going back, double checking your requirements. Now the name has to show something about you and your background has to show something about you. So one of the things I've really been working hard on lately is yoga. So you can look up different images online for reference if you want to look at them to kind of help you, but make sure you change and make them your own. But here's what we do as artists. When you are getting ready to draw something, you think about where. Don't just put everything in the middle. So where. And you start really light with the big basic shapes. And see how I didn't do that circle once? I can't get it right the first time. I have to do about 13 versions of that circle to get it right. Nice and light. And then I'm not even necessarily going to try to draw this figure in the middle with one line. Instead, what I want to do is just give myself some really messy shapes first. Like, how big is this figure going to be? And I'm doing this as quickly as I can. And I'm just using scratchy little lines. And I'm not trying to make it perfect yet. I just want to see, like, where is everything going to be? And I'm making changes. I'm not picking up my eraser. I'm literally just drawing right on top from one thing to the next. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a change. And once you kind of have that where you want it, then you can go back and you can start to do your next layer where it's a little bit darker maybe. And you can still even make changes. I'm not erasing, I'm just kind of going in, and this is called sketching. A lot of artists use sketching for their first layer. You can use so many different techniques. Some of you really love perspective drawing with rulers. This is just one drawing technique, one of many that I'll show you. And we're going to do a lot more than drawing this year, by the way, guys. But this is one of many techniques, and I want to teach them all to you because the goal is not necessarily for you to become competent in everything. I'd like you to try different things so you can figure out what method works best for you. Sorry, I got my Twitter pop-up going on there. Okay. All right. And then you can start to go over. So that's going to be the first, well, probably the second step. The first step is to start making decisions about what you want to include in your background. And the second step is to do this really messy pencil layer drawing. And then we'll go back and we will talk about on day 3, starting to outline this with maybe another material. You could use paint, you could go back and erase, you could use markers over top and kind of clean that up if it bothers you. Some people love all of this. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do some more lines and patterns, but at this point, you're probably itching to get started. So I'm going to keep doing some really cool patterns and things, but I just wanted to give you enough information to get you started on your layer 1 sketching with a pencil for your sketchbook cover design. I cannot wait to see what you guys are working on. I'm super duper excited. Good luck. Notice nowhere in here in the requirements does it say perfection. In fact, it says you have to make a mistake. This is a fun project. This is just for you, for your cover. It's about a 2-hour project, and we have a little more than a week to do it in class, and you might want to do a little bit on your own, which is fine. See you soon. Namaste.